Beelzebub visits West Virginia. Fingers of lightning tore holes in the black skies as an angry cloudburst drenched the surrealistic landscape. It was 3 a.m. on a cold, wet morning in late November 1967, and the little houses scattered along the dirt road winding through the hills of West Virginia were all dark. Some seemed unoccupied and in the final stages of decay. Others were unpainted, neglected, forlorn. The whole setting was like the opening scene of a grade B horror film from the 1930s. Along the road there came a stranger in a land where strangers were rare and suspect. He walked up to the door of a crumbling farmhouse and hammered. After a long moment, a light blinked on somewhere in the house, and a young woman appeared, drawing a cheap mail-order bathrobe tightly about her. She opened the door a crack, and her sleep-swollen face winced with fear as she stared at the apparition on her doorstep. He was over 6 feet tall and dressed entirely in black. He wore a black suit, black tie, black hat, and black overcoat, with impractical black dress shoes covered with mud. His face, barely visible in the darkness, sported a neatly trimmed mustache and goatee. The flashes of lightning behind him added an eerie effect. "May I use your phone?" he asked in a deep baritone, his voice lacking the familiar West Virginia accent. The girl gulped silently and backed away. "My husband," she mumbled. "Talk to my husband." She closed the door quickly and backed away into the darkness. Minutes passed. Then she returned accompanied by a rugged young man, hastily buckling his trousers in place. He too turned pale at the sight of the stranger. "We ain't got a phone here," he grunted through the crack in the door just before he slammed it. The couple retreated, murmuring to themselves, and the tall stranger faded into the night. The Mothman Prophecies by John Keel. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. First things first, I want to take a moment to thank all of my subscribers. I've gone over 1,000 subscriptions, and I wanted to thank all of you, those who have been with me a long time as well as those who are new. I want to thank you for spending a little bit of your time periodically watching my rantings and ravings, and I just wanted to say thank you. It certainly is a big surprise to me that I've come to the point where I have. When I started this channel, I never expected it to balloon to where it is now, and onwards I shall go, and we shall see where we all end up. I read from John Keel's book, The Mothman Prophecies, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with him and his work, and probably many more of you have even seen the movie The Mothman Prophecies with Richard Gere, which is one of my favorites. This video is a tribute to John Keel, who passed away. And I have a bit of an obituary here that I'd like to read, just a couple of quick parts about. Just in recognition of John Keel, 1930 to 2009. There's a little blurb about Mothman, which is probably the thing that John Keel is most known for. In 1975, Keel rocked the paranormal community with the publication of the Mothman Prophecies, which was his take on the strange events leading up to the Silver Bridge disaster in Point Pleasant, West Virginia on December 15, 1967. In 1966, Keel began investigating reports of a frightening creature in the area around the town. Dubbed Mothman, the entity appeared as a headless human form, sporting large wings and glowing red eyes in the chest area. Mothman did not fly like any known bird, bat, or insect, swooping down on unsuspecting motorists and teenagers and taking off from the ground vertically without moving its wings before keeping pace with fleeing cars and disappearing. Keel was very well known in the cryptozoological community as well as in paranormal circles. And of course his name and the Mothman and the surrounding phenomenon would be very well known to Forteans as well. Since I have an interest in all three of those categories, Keel is someone that I am familiar with. He represents a sort of person that we don't see very often anymore today, and the ones that we have are sadly dying off over time. And these are people who aren't afraid to delve knee-deep into subjects and to pose it even very bizarre, strange, and maybe even outlandish theories to explain where some phenomenon come from. And certainly the Mothman of West Virginia is one of the weirdest and strangest and creepiest that you could ever come across. Well, Keel did some other work in having to do with flying saucers, as they were called back in the day, and UFOs, and also, like I said, with other paranormal things, as well as Forteana. But certainly the Mothman in West Virginia is what he is most consummately known for. So I just wanted to take a moment to say a thank you to John Keel in memory of him, because he represents a dying breed of those people who aren't afraid to take a look behind the curtain of reality, and when they see something, report on it and come up with some pretty intriguing ideas as to why, how, where, and when things are. So my little tribute to John Keel. Thank you. Good night.